silence is commanded upon pain of imprisonment while the honorable court is in session. God save the Commonwealth and this honorable court. The Circuit Court of Culpeper County is now in session. The Honorable Judge Dale B. Durden now presiding. Be seated and come to order.
Good afternoon, everybody. Let me welcome everyone to this very special session of the Culpeper County Circuit Court. My name is Dale Durr, and I have the high honor and distinct privilege of serving as the presiding judge here. We are in session. However, we're going to suspend some of our formal rules. So if you want to move around to take pictures, that's entirely fine. Just be as discreet as you can because we're still in a regular session. But feel free to do that if you're trying to preserve photographs from today's date. Let me welcome you again, and let me tell you how we got to this very special session of the Culpeper County Circuit Court. I want to take you back to March 22nd, 2021. It was a Monday. We were in the throes of the pandemic, and I was sitting in my office working on an equitable distribution opinion. So if you're a lawyer, you realize that working on an equitable distribution opinion is about as fun as having a root canal without any anesthesia. I got a message from my very good friend, Zan Nelson, who is here today. And let me recognize her. Where is she? Zan, nice to see you. Thank you. And she sent me, I've known her for 30 years, dating back to my service as Delegate Butch Davies' legislative aide. And she said, I'd like to talk to you about something. And we set up a meeting. And her idea was to perhaps expand and put up some additional portraits here in the Culpeper County Circuit Courtroom that reflected our community as a whole. And I thought that was an excellent idea. And so right behind me, you'll see the portrait of my predecessor, Judge Susan Whitlock. And 3 years ago today, we gathered to unveil her portrait. But we didn't stop there. As many of you know, the presiding judge of this court is a very avid baseball fan. And so the second portrait I put up to our right is Pete Hill, who was born in Culpeper in 1882 and is a member of the Baseball Hall of Fame. And if you'd like to waste 45 minutes of your life at the reception afterwards, come see me and I'll tell you exactly how baseball mirrors the legal system. But we didn't stop there. May 17th, 2024, we unveiled the portrait of the first African-American police officer here in the town and county of Culpeper, Roscoe Ford. This past summer, Mr. Russell Rabb, our Commonwealth's attorney, and let me introduce you to him, came to see me and said he had an idea for a special ceremony of the Culpeper County Circuit Court to address 3 cases that had occurred during a 78-year time frame: William Grayson in 1850, William Allie Thompson in 1877, and Charles Allie Thompson in 1918. He filed a motion, and there is an order that will be entered that is consistent with that motion. But I wanted to bring us all together today really for 3 things. One, I want to show this county's commitment to truth. And a great community doesn't hide its history. It faces and acknowledges its flaws. It moves forward, and the truth strengthens us. The second reason I wanted to have this hearing today was I wanted to see how big our capacity for reconciliation is. In a democracy, I believe no wrong can last forever. Everything ought to be open for public inspection and scrutiny. And by knowing these other stories, I think we better understand ourselves, and it binds us together. And the third reason is I wanted to have us to have an ability to look forward. I still believe that America's best days are ahead of it. It's advanced citizenship in America. You got to want it. You've got to want to work at it, and you've got to want to be with everyone who moves things forward. But what makes this ceremony so special is the larger story it contains. We are not perfect, but today does validate the fact that this is a country born of change, born of revolution, and one that aspires to continuously get better. So before I turn things over to Mr. Rabb, I want to recognize, and I apologize if I missed someone, there are a lot of people who helped put this together today. Zan Nelson, Russ Rabb, Joe Daniel, Butch Davies. I see some other people from the Virginia State Police here. Chief Settle, or not Chief Settle, but Deputy Chief White is here, and there are members from the Sheriff's Office here. Jim Hingsley, the Commonwealth's Attorney from Albemarle County, is here, and I welcome all of them. I see several very esteemed pastors who mean a lot to me, Ludwell Brown, Mark Jenkins, and Dan Carlton, and I welcome all of them here. And it is my honor to be with you this afternoon. So, to get this session moving forward, I'm going to turn things over to Russell Rabb III, our esteemed Commonwealth's Attorney. So go ahead, Mr. Rabb.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the Court, Russ Rabb appearing on behalf of the Commonwealth and with the honor of presenting this motion to you. This motion involves three individuals: William Grayson, William Thompson, and Charles Allie Thompson. The purpose of this motion is for the preservation and recognition of these three men. The preservation meaning of all of their documents that have come before the court. So that, as you said earlier, they're open for public inspection, available for anybody in the public to learn from in perpetuity. And I'll repeat that, to learn from. It is the Commonwealth's understanding that after this ceremony, the clerk of our court, Carson Beard, has actually, and with the assistance of others, gathered all of these documents. Will be, I think, removing mold from them and preparing them to be preserved in perpetuity and bound together at his expense. I have also prepared an exhibit to support my motion that I'd ask that the court consider. This exhibit was primarily put together by Zan Nelson, but also myself, members of my office, and I proudly present it to your court and to your honor to be presented as an exhibit with leave to withdraw, specifically so that Mr. Beard can actually digitize these images, which I have provided to him in an alternate format. But before I get into the exhibit, what I want to mention to you is the purpose of this motion is to recognize three men that I mentioned earlier. And specifically, I move that the court consider all evidence today, including this binder that I'll present momentarily, to recognize and find that William Grayson, William Thompson, and Charles Allie Thompson were and remain to this day innocent of their charges, as they were deprived of their right to due process guaranteed by the United States Constitution. I will also further ask that this court acknowledge the deprivation of these rights in order that this case and all of the exhibits, everything that has been bound by this clerk, be sealed in perpetuity by this court for public inspection. I ask this respectfully at this special session, and it's my honor to do this in front of yourself, in front of all the members of this community, leaders, colleagues, friends. It is so at this time I would ask that the court consider this exhibit, which contains approximately, it's about 80 pages of source material. The source material consists of newspaper articles involving all three cases. It consists of all court documents that could be located easily. That ranges from everything from judges' notes to magistrate notes to magistrate issued orders, further to a Supreme Court case involving one of these matters. I'd ask that this, if I may approach,
please
be
come right
considered
on.
as Commonwealth's 1.
We'll do that.
And specifically, Your Honor has been presented with an order in this case as well. I'd ask that the court, it's my hope that you will enter this order, and it shall remain amongst the general orders of this court for all time and for inspection by all. And so at this time, I'm asking that the court enter the order presented that will recognize William Grayson, William Thompson, and Charles Allie Thompson as innocent of their crimes, as deprived of their rights as set forth under the United States Constitution, and that all documents be preserved for all time. Thank you.
Mr. Rabb, let me locate your order.
if I might approach.
Please, come on up. I seem to have misplaced it. Thanks. All right, very good. The court has considered the motion and the arguments of the Commonwealth's attorney, and the court is going to grant the motion, but I want to reflect for a moment on why it's important that this motion be granted. These three instances in 1850, 1877, and 1918 were not spur-of-the-moment incidents. They involved a great deal of premeditation, calculation, reflection, and thought. And it's this calculating deliberation of citizens who openly avow that there's an unwritten law that would justify them in putting any human being to death without complaint, under oath, without trial by jury, without an opportunity to make a defense, without a right of appeal. And the first instance one sees of the concept of cross-examination appears in Acts 25:16, where the Apostle Paul demands that the accusers be brought in front of him. This order, this motion, I think reframed in context, tells us so much more. This is a wonderful county. You're sitting on land that was surveyed by George Washington, the father of American bourbon. Elijah Craig was imprisoned by the colonial magistrates in our jail for preaching without a license. On August 22nd, 1825, one of my predecessors on this wall, Judge Green, hosted former President James Monroe and Lafayette at his house. My good friend Donnie Johnston is here today, and he has written a wonderful article on Lyndon Johnson's trips through Culpeper County in the 1940s and 1950s, and I would urge you to seek him out after that. But too often, I think we've ignored the stories of people like William Grayson, William Allie Thompson, and Charles Allie Thompson. The best history helps us recognize the mistakes that we've made and the evil corners at which humanity can dwell and which we need to guard against. An unvarnished view of history certainly makes us uncomfortable. It shakes our familiar narratives, but this is why we need to do it. This discomfort causes us to learn and grow and harness the great collective power we have as a community to make our community better and our nation just a little bit more perfect. And this ceremony, I think, helps us talk to each other. It helps us listen to each other. It helps us see each other. So it is my high honor and distinct privilege to enter the order that Mr. Rabb has given to me, and I will have that published in the index books of the Culpeper County Circuit Court.